Welcome to episode 149 of Gods and Heroes of Ancient Greece. My name is MyLinda Butterworth, and today we continue with the tale of Odysseus and the story of With the Swineherd. On the evening of that very day, Odysseus had his meal with Eumaeus and the other herdsmen. To try his host and to find out how long he would give shelter to a poor beggar, Odysseus said to him after they had finished eating, "Tomorrow, my friend, I shall take my beggar's staff and set out for the town, for I do not want to be a burden to you. Tell me the best way to go, and give me a guide as far as the gates. Then I shall wander around and see where I can get a little bread and wine. I should also like to go to the palace and tell Penelope what I know about Odysseus. Who knows but that suitors may give me food and shelter in return for a little work? For I am very good at splitting wood, making a fire, turning the spit, serving meat and wine, and doing other things the rich expect from the poor." But Eumaeus frowned and replied, "What a talk is this? Do you want to walk straight to your own destruction? Do you really think those arrogant suitors want such as you for servants? They have quite other persons to see to their needs. Boys with blooming faces, with perfumed hair and dainty tunics walk about the tables loaded with meat, bread, and wine, and pass the platters. Better stay with us, you are no burden, and wait until Telemachus returns and supplies you with clothing and food." Odysseus accepted this offer with thanks, and then begged the herdsman to tell him about his master's parents, whether they were still living or had gone the dark path to Hades. "Laertes, his father, is still alive," said Eumaeus, "but he mourns Odysseus and Anticlea, his own wife, who died of sorrow for the loss of her son. I too lament the death of that good woman, for it was she who brought me up with her daughter Tamene, almost as if I had been her own child. Later, when her daughter married a man from Same, the mother fitted me out and sent me out here to the country. Now, to be sure, I have been deprived of many things, and live by my work as well as I can. Penelope, who is queen now, can do nothing at all for me. She is surrounded and spied on by her suitors, and an honest servant is not even admitted into her presence." "But where do you come from, and how did you happen to get to the palace in Ithaca?" Odysseus asked. The swineherd filled his guest's bowl and answered, "Drink, old man, while I tell you a story which I hope will not tire you. This is the season when the nights are long and there is time both for talk and for sleep. Beyond Ortygia lives the island of Syria. It was not a large population, though the soil is fertile. 2 cities are on it. Both were governed by a mighty king, by my father Eumaeus, son of Eumaeus. When I was quite a small boy, dishonest seamen from Phoenicia landed there. They had all sorts of fine wares for sale on their ship, and stayed near our coast for a long time. Now, in our palace was a woman from Phoenicia. My father had bought her as a slave. She was slender and lovely, skilled in crafts, and well liked by everyone in our household. She fell in love with one of the traders from her own country, and the man promised to take her to Sidon. The faithless slave, on her part, pledged him certain things in return. Not only would she bring him gold to pay her passage, but something better. For, so she told him, she was the nurse of the little prince. He was bright for his age, and went with her whenever she had to do errands for the house. It would be easy to get him to come to the ship, and he should sell well enough to fetch the trader a substantial profit. So the woman made a bargain with him and returned to the palace. The traders remained on our island for a full year. When they finally loaded their ship and prepared to sail for home, one of them came to the palace with a necklace of gold and amber beads for sale. My mother and her tirewomen were grouped around him. They passed the charming trinket from hand to hand, examined it, and offered him their price. While this was going on, the man nodded to Phoenicia, and hardly had he left the house before she took me by the hand and led me out. As we passed through the room which lay before the great hall, she saw the board spread for my father's guests. I watched her take 3 gold cups and hide them in the folds of her mantle. But I was too unsuspecting to give it a thought and followed her. The sun was just setting when we reached the harbor and boarded the ship with the rest of the crew. We left with a favorable wind, but when we were about 6 days out at sea, the false woman fell dead, struck by an arrow of Artemis, so they said, dead as a sea-fowl shot by the hunter. They threw her overboard as food for the fish, and I, a little child, was left alone among the strangers. Not one of them had pity on me. After a time they landed in Ithaca, where Laertes bought me from the traders. That was the first time I ever saw this island. Well, said Odysseus, you need not lament your fate too bitterly, for along with the bad Zeus gave you much good. He put you into the hands of a good man who took care of your needs, and on whose lands you are still living. Well, I, on the other hand, I am a beggar, wandering about in eternal exile. While they were talking, the hours had sped. There was only a little time left to sleep before the dawn woke them. And here is where I end my tale for today. But I'll be back with more tales. Many more tales. Until then, my friends, enjoy the journey.